Hey everyone, this is Chris and Sandy. A person with some amazing guests throughout the entertainment industry. And today, like I say on every episode, we've got a great show for you. We got former basketball player and motivational speaker now, Walter Bond, coming on. He's done some great things in the pro leagues, and now he's doing some great things in the motivational league. So I guess when it comes to Walter, he goes to the top no matter what industry he's in. And that's why we wanted him on the show to kind of
Yes.
talk about what it takes to go to the top, the sacrifices you have to make, the struggles, and all that to get there. Because again, I think in our society now, a lot of people they want the quick fix, and there is no such thing as quick fix. So, Walter, welcome to the show.
Yes.
Thank you,
Welcome.
Chris. Thank you, guys. And I'm gonna sum it up real briefly, and we'll unpack it and talk about it in depth. Is that it's really all about the shark mindset. When I think
Mhm.
about how I made it to the NBA, it was a journey. Had ups and downs. I had support. I had help. I did not do it by myself. To be totally transparent, there were moments when I thought about quitting, and I had people around me that kept me going. When I was tired, and also the business. We same kind of deal. A lot of great coaches, a lot of great mentors, and so we created a video called the Shark Mindset. It's on YouTube,
Yeah, I've
and oh
seen
my
it.
God,
Oh,
guys,
yes.
it's gotten about 3.5 million views. We had no
Wow.
idea that it would get that kind of traction, but it really showed us that people needed it because the mindset is everything. And if your mind's
It
not
is.
made up, you'll quit, you'll throw in a towel, you'll justify, you'll settle for less. We even wrote a book called Swim to further advance the shark mindset. And it's really become a movement, honestly. It doesn't matter if you're an individual or a leader. The way we wrote the book Swim, it appeals to both. And
Yeah.
we're very
Yeah.
excited about teaching people now the mentality it takes to get to the top of their industry.
And I love that. And as we get started here, as you know, we're in a tough time for our country because of COVID.
Oh,
And I
yes.
always like to kind of start there because, as you know, COVID affects everybody. Whether you're rich or poor, you're affected. It doesn't matter. So, how has COVID affected you? And what are some of the things you've done to kind of maneuver through this new maze, so to speak?
Well, great question. And, in the book Swim, we talk about the sacred six. And one thing about a shark, they're made of cartilage, which means they are
Ah,
flexible, right? They know when to
yes.
pivot, they know when to change. And we teach that to our corporate clients through the book Swim. We teach that in our coaching and consulting. And it's something we all had to do with COVID. Now, the truth is, here's my truth. My wife and I, my business partner, we had a record year in 2019. We
Mhm.
finally got all of our kids out of college, they got jobs.
Oh,
And her
wow.
and I were just ready. We were in position for 2020 to be unbelievable, amazing. And all of a sudden, we got sucker punched like everybody else, and our industry got completely shut down. Right? It
Yeah.
didn't even take
Right.
a while for virtuals to kind of get off the ground. So we're sitting at home, phones not ringing, all of our meetings canceled, and a
Mm.
lot of speakers were very frustrated, angry, scared, and despair. My wife and I, we pivoted. We got to work on a teamwork methodology that we have been working on. We got to get back in the lab and finish it and the assessment. So we launched a nonprofit. And so for us, we took this
Mhm.
gift of time and really built bigger capacity. And at the end of the day, I think that adversity will increase our value if we let it. Sometimes people don't understand adversity. Sometimes people feel sorry for themselves. God, why did you let this happen to me? And then they're mad at God. If you read the Bible, every powerful man and woman of God that God used, they went through some type of adversity first before they really got the victory. Joseph
Exactly.
got
Yes.
thrown into a ditch before he became, basically the savior of Egypt and Pharaoh's most powerful assistant. And so, adversity is a part of it if you look at it the right way.
And that's like
Mhm.
even for our show, we launched January 3rd of 2020, couple months before COVID. And
Mhm.
I remember our original plan was to do 100 interviews first year. And I'll be honest, we thought that that would be pushing it.
We were like, there's
Because you
no
just
way
ain't
we'll
really
hit that.
heard of too
Mhm.
many hosts doing 100 interviews a year. And so we thought that was pushing it. And then COVID happens. And I told Sandy, I was like, you know what? The entertainment world is slowing down. We need to speed up because this may be our year to shine. And because when we first started, the show was actually an up and coming country music interview show.
That was the roots of it.
And because of COVID, it became a music show, which then eventually became an entertainment interview show. So we kept pivoting as things were shutting down. And because of the pivot, because of us being more expanded of the show, we did over 300 interviews last year.
Wow. Which means you guys are sharks. That's all it means to me. I've been studying sharks a long time. Some sharks can operate in fresh water and salt water. Some sharks like to go deep. Some sharks like shallow water. If you go to a zoo, they have lemon sharks. They do well in captivity. And so, honestly, we all got to figure out what kind of shark are we. But the best part about it, Chris and Sandy, is that sharks grow about a foot a year. And chaos is a ladder. I mean, this is a ladder. So not only you guys are experts in music, now you have interviews, you got motivational speakers coming on. It's really expanded and built capacity. And if it wasn't for the coronavirus, you might have just been stuck in one genre.
Oh, we would have
really expanded the territory.
Definitely.
And again, we don't take lightly what COVID has done because we understand that. But at the same time, I told Sandy, 5, 6, 7 years down the road, when we are a Bobby Bones type show, a Ty Bentley, a Kelly Clarkson show, maybe on TV, we'll be able to look back and we'll probably owe COVID for expediting us into that. Because again,
silver lining.
a little silver lining for us, because we had no idea this all was going to happen. And it happened so quick. And I've got people reaching out to me, how are you getting some of these guests on your show? I'm like, it's not me, it's God. Because it's just our time.
To him.
We're not qualified to do this, but he qualifies, but he qualifies the called. And people don't get that sometimes.
Well, sometimes you got to walk on water, right? Sometimes you got to do things that seem bigger than you and have faith to do it. And that was the NBA for me. I didn't start on my college basketball team. A lot of people felt I should have gone and gotten a job. In fact, I had a great job offer. And my dad was like, go for it, right? And even as a motivational speaker, I was a broadcaster for the Minnesota Timberwolves, and I didn't like broadcasting. And people were like, dude, are you crazy? You're an NBA broadcaster, man, ride it out. And I was like, I don't like it. And so my wife and I took a leap of faith, and we literally launched our motivational speaking business. Now we're sitting on corporate boards, and now we got big clients like casinos, Choctaw Casino in Oklahoma, big franchises. But it just took a leap of faith, no different than what you and Sandy have done. And I wish more people did it, but it takes faith, right? You got to have faith the size of a mustard seed to move a mountain.
Absolutely.
And, I think God is waiting for more people who claim they believe in him to trust him enough to walk out in faith. So I commend you both.
Talk about faith. That's pretty much been our marriage. 18 years ago when we married, we actually met online back when it's taboo. Because, of course, now everybody meets online.
Yeah.
But back in 2002, nobody met that way. We met online. We met February 2nd of 2002. We talked on the phone for the first time on February 4th. February 18th, we set a wedding date, and March 4th, we met in person. So we were meeting in person because we just knew that this was of God. We just knew it. And we didn't know how we knew it, but we just knew it. And we were meeting in person to see who we were going to marry.
Right.
That's faith. That's the faith. Well, I want you to know that you got married the day after my birthday. My birthday.
No, we got married October 5th of that year.
Oh, okay. Well, what happened February 2nd? You got engaged?
Yeah. We met online on February 2nd.
Yeah.
Well, my birthday is February 1st. So that's wow. We got a connection.
Exactly. I love that. Because again, I think that a lot of people, just like I went through 19 years of addictions, until God healed me 13 years ago. But the first 5 years of our marriage, she went through pure hell because of it. But now I didn't cheat and I didn't hit her. She didn't do that side.
Yeah.
But I crossed every line outside of that. But she never nagged me. She never put me down. She always loved me in spite of the addictions. And sometimes when we tell our story, sometimes people will say, oh, she allowed you to walk over her. And I'm like, no, she allowed me to experience God's pure love through her.
Man, Chris, I can hear the emotion in your voice. Sometimes, we've all had ups and downs, right? And so that's why we can't judge people. And that's why you never give up on people. And I just want to celebrate your wife that she never gave up on you, and that's what love is. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love is not easily angered. And there's a lot of parents listening today. Your kids are going to disappoint you. Your kids are going to do things that you didn't teach them to do. And it's called sin. And sometimes there's things inside of us that we got to reconcile. Sometimes it's a hurt from a childhood. Sometimes it's a disappointment. And sometimes we use drugs and alcohol as a coping mechanism. Athletes do it all the time. We're stressed out, so we use drugs and alcohol and sometimes sex as really just a way to feel good because I don't know how to handle the stress and the pressure. And once you learn how to give it to God and trust God, you don't need to do a lot of the things we thought we needed to do to make ourselves feel better. So Sandy, I just really applaud you for your patience, your compassion, and Chris saw God through you. Right.
Yep, exactly.
And you see God through somebody else, man. That's how you know how powerful God really is. So we need more people to be that example, so people can actually, I've heard about God, right? I've read about God, but I've never had an experience with God.
Yeah.
So that's why anyone that is called a Christian or godly, we need to become that example. When we speak, they need to hear God. When we love, they need to feel God.
Yeah, because I remember there was a meme that went around that I liked that talked about be the person or have the person who doesn't believe because they know you. They might not, maybe they don't fully believe still, but I actually sat down with an atheist years ago and told our story a little bit. And I remember that person says, I still don't believe in God, but if there's ever a shot that I could, it'd be because of your story.
Well, the interesting thing is that even an atheist believes in something.
Yep.
They actually believe that God is not real. So at the end of the day, it's in us to believe. And some people believe money is the answer. Some people believe that the right job is the answer or the right mate is the answer. I think a lot of what God wants to do is through relationships. And that's why we talk about the shark mindset in our book. And basically, it's about a shark and a suckerfish. And the suckerfish is a metaphor for someone who needs coaching, who needs support, who has potential, but just need a little guidance because they're a little lost. Right? And the shark is the coach, the teacher, the mentor. Jesus Christ is my shark, right? And I was a little lost. I was a little confused, right? I was a little devastated and not really understanding what life is all about. And once I got connected to the shark, man, the shark's job is to take you places you can't take yourself. And one of my favorite Bible verses is that I will make you lie down in green pastures, which simply says, I'm going to make you successful, right? I'm going to make you lie down in green pastures that are flourishing, that are healthy. And if my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and turn from their wicked ways, in other words, connect to me, then I'll heal the land. And so I learned that, I've tried it on my own for a long time. Let me tell you, when I talk about the shark and the suckerfish, there is nothing better than me being a suckerfish connected to Jesus Christ, the shark. But we got parasites too, and parasites take and take and take, and they never give. So that's why the book Swim is so popular, because there's three kind of people on this earth. There's sharks, there's suckerfish, and there's parasites. Companies have parasites. There's parasites in relationships. There's parasites everywhere. And the truth is, anytime any of us are selfish, in that moment, we're being a parasite. We're taking and not giving. But we all know we're more blessed to give than to receive. And the shark and suckerfish have a symbiotic relationship. But the parasite is what we got to be careful of.
Yeah. And and I think this is one of the reasons why when young couples marry, they have issues. A lot of people that all their life, they're pushed into their kids, got to be independent, got to be independent, got to be independent, got to be independent, got to be independent. And that's brainwashed into them so much. Then they get married, and guess what they think? They got to be independent. And all of a sudden, they're married living two separate lives, and they wonder why we have a 50-60% divorce rate. It's because you didn't teach them how to be interdependent. You didn't teach them how to, because I want, when our two kids, I want to be able to teach them to serve.
Oh yes.
So that way, if they find someone who serves too, then when they get married, it'll be a whole different story than having two people that believe in independence.
Well, when you get married, you shall become one.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't happen instantly. It does not, because
Yeah.
Sandy, you had a value system and a lifestyle. Chris, you had a value system and a lifestyle, and you got married and connected to each other. And it takes a while to kind of recreate this value system that we both buy into. And the beauty of connecting different people and different families, hopefully you can connect the best of both worlds.
Yep.
I mean, my family is very much into how you behave and get educated. My wife's family is much more into let's spend time together. And, and my family is just focused on educating, getting, being a good person, and having a career. And so by us being blended, the goal is to have the best of both worlds, where our kids understand the value of education, understand the value of being a good citizen, being a sweet person, if you will, but also spending quality time with family in an intimate way. And so by bringing the best of two worlds together, that's how you strengthen families. And that is a process, because most people come in and either believe their family did it right, or unknowingly practice some of the dysfunction from a family that they came from, and not really even understand that this behavior is not appropriate, because this is what I grew up in. We curse people out in my family. We get in my family, right? We have silent treatments in my family. We'll go for months without talking in my family, and that's normal because that's what we did. And other families are like, no, that's not normal to get drunk every night and curse each other out. That's not normal to not talk to each other for 3 months. That's not normal. But whatever you experienced, you created some comfort around it, whether it was functional or dysfunctional. And it became a part of who you are. And then you bring the good, the bad, and the ugly into a marriage. And that's why divorce can get so nasty, and relationships can get so stressful, because we're coming from two different worlds and they collide. And everyone's trying to protect the world they come from because they know how to operate in that world, instead of creating this new world that's better, this new world that's stronger, this new world that takes both sides to acquiesce some and say, we're going to take the best of you and your family. We're going to take the best of me and my family, and we're going to blend it together and become an amazing family.
Yeah, and when we got married, I mean, we dove all in, because we've been, people say all these years, they keep saying we're unhealthy and all that and this and that, but we've been a 24/7 couple since the day we married.
Wow.
I guarantee
always work together.
I guarantee you there's probably less than 3,000 hours apart in the 18 years. Now, we've been apart, but less than 3,000 hours. But again, we chose, I remember when I was looking online, I felt like God told me my wife was online, and people thought I was nuts back then. I remember I knew what I wanted in marriage. I knew, of course, I wanted this Christian girl, but outside of that, there was one kind of deal breaker I had. I would ask each, because again, I was like, you're meeting all these different people. I asked God, how will I know? And I remember feeling the nudge that you'll know. She will stand out like none of the others. So as I'm searching through the internet, trying to find that one, her, I remember the deal breaker I had, and I got called all kinds of names for this. But my deal breaker was I would ask, and it was a question. It was, if it were possible, would you consider living a 24/7 marriage to build a legacy together? Just that, because I knew I wanted to. I knew that was the kind of marriage I wanted. A lot of people, they know they want to live marriage this way. They want to live marriage this way, but they never talk about it.
Right.
And they get married, then they talk about it. Well, I didn't want to do that. I was like, this is how I want to. I would rather stay single rest of my life and not live this way. And everybody kept saying, "Oh, that's utopia. You'll never find it. You're stupid. You're controlling." I mean, I heard it all. And then one day, I asked her that question when I ran into her, and the answer she gave, she said, "I've never heard of that kind of marriage, but if that were even remotely possible, that would be amazing." And here we are today.
Well, I'll say this: my wife and I are together all day, especially since COVID. I mean, we're literally together all day, every day. But when I'm not on the road traveling, we're together all day, every day. And now my wife coaches and speaks as well.
Ain't that
So
cool?
literally, we're together. She goes to all my client events. If you become one, you should be able to hang out with your spouse every day, all day, if you really want.
Yeah.
And again, we can't fatigue, we can't tire, and we can't get discouraged by the possibility of becoming one. But sometimes people get stubborn, right? Sometimes people get selfish, and it's their way of the highway, so to speak. Or the number one benefit of a healthy relationship is communication. And I don't want to hurt you. You don't want to hurt me. Let's talk about it. If you don't like it, I won't do it. Right?
And assume the best.
Yeah. So I applaud you guys for being a great example and being okay being around each other. Because there's a lot of people that are just roommates. They just.
I never wanted that.
Yeah,
I didn't want that either.
You're right. They're just co-renters because it's inexpensive together, and it's just too expensive not to be together. And that's not enough of a motive to stay together. But God got to be the center.
Exactly.
You got a referee, right? I think God is the referee for marriage. That's gonna.
And I always joke that I'm like, all we're doing is living the Adam and Eve marriage, because I believe, in my opinion, I can't prove it, but when you read the Bible and before sin came in, it almost sounds like that God was saying, y'all go work together, so we're just living the original Adam and Eve marriage.
Well, I agree with you, and the best part about it is that they were naked. That was the best part. So, that's how it should be. That you're totally transparent. You don't have anything to hide, and you're totally comfortable around each other. And that is the ultimate. And you're surrounded by resources, right? So the visual of Adam and Eve is powerful because that should be the case. Whether you live in Kentucky, Oklahoma, Florida, Minnesota. That's how a healthy marriage should feel, that we're comfortable, we can be transparent, and we have all the resources we need together with God. It's just me, you, and God. And as long as we live in that covenant, God will make us lie down in green pastures. If we go off on our own and do it our way, that's when things get dicey, and then we want to blame God when things don't work out. And so
it's our stuff.
Yeah, we're people of faith, and we understand that some of the ups and downs that we've had have been some consequences, to be honest with you, of us maybe not executing the word, not being a good steward of our finances, or whatever the case may be. And sometimes, it's just a situation that God is preparing us for. Before Joseph became the most influential man in Egypt at Pharaoh's right hand, he got thrown into a ditch, right? As a part of the preparation, because now you can relate to people. And so, Chris, think about all the people you can relate to. That might have dealt with addiction, or the people who you can relate to that might be struggling right now. You can encourage them and say, look, I've struggled, right? You're gonna be okay, and imagine the word you can share, Sandy, around other family members who might be dealing with someone with a challenge. It could be mental health, it could be drugs, it could be anything, it could be someone died unexpectedly. We all need support. And that's why the shark and the suckerfish, honestly, is so powerful, because the metaphor really is that sometimes in the day we should be sharks. Sometimes in the day we should be suckerfish, which simply means sometimes we're supporting somebody else. Sometimes we're being supported. But the truth is we should never be parasites.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for that. We're either a shark and if you read the book Swim, it'll make perfect sense to you. But that's there's three kind of people on this earth. There's sharks, there's suckerfish, and there's parasites. And parasites, honestly, they want to connect to you, but all they want to do is take and rob you of all your resources. And the good news about the book Swim, the suckerfish has one job to do: kill the parasite and keep.
Oh, wow.
So the suckerfish actually eats the parasite. Right. And the book is a parable. It's about a young man that had a good friend. They were really close young. One got in trouble, went off his separate way, and got a great mentor. The other one was successful, kind of did his own thing. And then they meet back up 30 years later. And it's amazing what happens on this boat, on this boat ride, when these two friends from different worlds, one had a mentor and one didn't. And when they meet together 30 years later, man, there's an amazing, touching story and experience that we all can relate to. So the way we wrote the book, I got mentored by Mark Victor Hansen from Chicken Soup for Your Soul.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Walter, I couldn't put swim down. And I'm like, well, thank you. Well, I had great mentors. You know, when people say, how'd you write a bestseller? I was like, honestly, I had a great mentor, Mark Victor Hansen. Chicken Soup for Your Soul has sold 100 million books.
Yep. What a great mentor to have.
Yes, that's a great.
He was the shark. I was a suckerfish. He coached me on it. He gave me advice. And I listened. I didn't have to second guess. I'm like, dude, that's like a high school kid talking to Michael Jordan and then not agreeing with it or not doing it. I'm like, dude, I got connected by God to Mark Victor Hansen.
Wow.
He gave me simple instructions. I executed the instructions, and now I'm a best-selling author, right? So to me, coaching and mentorship is important, but being coachable is also important.
You know, and speaking of all that, you know, when we look back on our, you know, talking about God prepares people in the rough times and prepares them through the years. You know, I can remember in our 18 years of marriage, when we're out and about, we'd run into not only talking about friends, we'd run into strangers. And Sandy would know if I'm 2 or 3 minutes in a conversation, we're there 30, 40 minutes, 50 minutes, hour at a time. And sometimes she'd get upset and roll her eyes. But when I get to talking and we get to going. And if it gets deep at all, we're there for 60 minutes for sure. And so many times she'd get mad at me. But now we kind of laugh and joke that we look back. And I did that thousands of times in our marriage. And ain't it funny that now we've got a show where we bring on people and we talk 30 to 60 minutes on average every day.
Well, here's the truth, you know, Chris, and I want you and Sandy to really receive this. That's a gift, right? The ability to connect with a total stranger and transform a total stranger into a friend in 60 minutes is a gift. And it's probably why the devil's trying so hard, Chris, to distract you and to get you often, you know, into another place that doesn't position you to God to really use you in your full capacity, because it is a gift. You know, I just did a virtual today, right? And I've done keynotes in front of 5,000 people. I've done 25,000 people. And even though I might speak to thousands of people, when I get done, I'm in the back signing my book. And people are like, man, I felt like you were talking to me. Like I felt like I know you. Like, and that's just a gift. And I don't take that gift lightly. I feel like it's no different than God gifting me with the body I have to play in the NBA, or the hands. I got big hands. I got good hands. They call me hands and ankle. If I touch it, I don't drop it, right? I got long arms, right? I'm explosive. I got high IQ. And I'm just thankful that God gave me physical gifts and mental gifts that position me to play in NBA. And so right now, the ability to connect with the audience through a keynote, a coaching program, a training, or what you do one-on-one, hey guys, that's a gift.
Yeah,
that's a true gift.
And I totally agree with that. Like yesterday I had on one
and also use the gift.
Exactly, because a lot of people have gifts, but they don't use it. Like yesterday, I had a person on our show, and this is our different show, not Chris and Sandy show, but we do a Nashville show too. Yeah. And as a judge, and several times through it, she got emotional, and you know that don't happen in the judge world. But to me, I feel like, okay, if someone gets emotional on my show, I'm doing my job right. To me, again, our tagline is called Up Close and Personal, because that's what we want. We want to get up close and personal with the guests so that the people who are listening, watching, whatever, they can feel like they're there.
Well, you know, with us three together, man, they should be there, you know. And, you know, life is a journey. And I know the coronavirus has kind of tested all of us, right? And I don't leave the house, really. Sometimes I go a whole day. I will not leave the house. I'll go out and take garbage out, because I know I got to protect the gift, you know, so I don't go out carelessly. I got a good friend of mine that's an executive. We're supposed to talk about some business that we're going to do for them and teaching people about teamwork. And he's like, Walter, I'm in the hospital with COVID. I mean, you're talking about a Division I football player who now is an executive, and I know he's mentally tough. I know that he's physically fit. I know he understands mental toughness, but he's like, dude, I'm in the hospital. Like, this COVID is no joke, right? And so I'm very protective of the gift, right? And so, when danger's around, I think we got to respect the gift and don't put our God to a foolish test. That's my message. Like, you know what? Whether you think COVID is real or not real, it's not a hoax, so don't need to wear masks. I'm like, look, I'm gonna wear the mask. It's not gonna hurt me to wear it, right? And if I'm at home, I'm gonna take it off. And I'm in public, I'm gonna do what the scientist says. I don't know if it's true or not, but what's the benefit of me rolling the dice and putting my God to a foolish test?
Exactly.
That's just my mentality. People agree with it, don't agree with it. I know people are dying from COVID. We know that around the world.
Yes.
Right? It's not just some American hope.
I'd rather be safe than sorry, because again, I want, we've got a great show here. We've got a big future. We've got a almost 2-year-old, a 9-year-old. I don't want them to go without me, and vice versa.
No.
So I want to do what it takes to protect us. So we go out a lot, but we wear a mask when we do go out.
Yeah, we sanitize.
Wash your hands. Social distance. Be a good citizen. Be a good steward. Because we all want this to be over.
Exactly.
We do.
We get into a debate on what's real and what's not. I'm like, I want it to be over, right? So if I gotta wear masks for it to be over as soon as possible, if I gotta wash my hands for it to be over, if I have to socially distance, if I have to take a vaccine, I remember being outside playing with all my friends, right? I want to do that again. I want to get on airplanes. I want to go to hotels. I want to go to ball games. I want to tailgate. I want to do all the things we used to do before COVID. And unfortunately, here's what we all learned: how connected we really are. If you really think about it. And people say, am I my brother's keeper? Absolutely.
Yeah.
Virus spread through people.
It did.
Right? Globally. And I'm like, if nothing else, God showed us how connected we really are.
We are very connected.
When you come contact somebody, you can have impact on them. And we're impacting people with COVID and not even knowing it, right? And so that's powerful. And I respect that, right? And so if you think about Jesus as he walked this earth, man, people were just touching the hem of his garment and was getting healed, right? Because they got close to him. They got contact. So think about being a game changer. Think about being a motivator. Think about being a person of influence. What happens when people come around you and they touch the hem of your garment? Are they getting sick? Are they getting discouraged? Right? Are they getting cursed out? Are they getting disrespected? Or when they come into your presence, they're healed. When they come into your presence, they smile. And, people say all the time to me, Walter, I don't know what it is, man, but I just love being around you and your smile. You're just positive, man. Can I just hang out with you? I'm like, yeah, come, let's hang out. This is who I am. On stage, off stage. This is not a presentation. Let's hang out. We bought a house in Florida that's designed to host people. Why? Because we love people. And come hang out with us, man. If you're sick, come hang out with us. If you're healthy, come hang out with us. At the end of the day, if you come in contact with me and my family, I want you to be a better person when you leave us than when you came.
Amen to that. And we're going to have Sandy get little Chris, our 9-year-old. We always have him ask a question each guest.
Yes, we call him our third co-host.
Our third co-host. As we come to a close on the show, because I know your time is limited here. So I figured get him in as the last part.
But I'm putting my glasses to make sure I can see him good.
Yeah, because we are a family affairs show. And when Caitlin gets older, we'll be plugging her in the show too, because we want to build a family around this show.
Love it, love it, love it.
I mean, I know not every career can do that with kids, but you know what? Why not if you can?
That's right. Bring us a family business. How are you, young man?
I'm doing good. So, hi, what's your favorite food?
My favorite food is food. No, actually, my favorite food is barbecue.
Yeah.
I love my wife for my birthday. Hired a barbecue pit master to teach me how to make brisket on my green egg. I had a green egg barbecue grill, and man, that was the best birthday present I've ever had. Now I know how to make perfect brisket. So I love barbecue ribs, barbecue chicken, anything on the grill. That's my favorite.
And what's yours?
Mine is pizza.
But you know what? I'm from Chicago, so that's my second favorite. You been to Chicago before?
Not yet.
Nope. Even though Chicago is really cold.
Yeah, that's true. But they got some good pizza and it's thick. So if you can remember this, I want you to go to Chicago and get some deep dish pizza from Lou Malnati's. It's the best. I just hooked you up. Lou Malnati's is the best pizza in Chicago.
Wow.
You got one more question?
Yes.
Yeah, one more.
So what's your favorite TV show?
You know, I don't watch a lot of TV, honestly. I'm not a TV guy. So when I watch TV, it's a sporting event. I try not to even watch the news because the news tends to be very negative. And in fact, I tell my audience cut off the news. And I will say, through the coronavirus and this last election and what's been happening in this world, it's been so crazy. I've been flicking around just trying to figure out what the truth is, you know, through these different media outlets. But I like to watch sports. And I'm a football nut. I love the Minnesota Vikings. I love the University of Minnesota where I went. And so if I had my druthers, I would sit in front of my TV and I would watch a really good football game.
And what's yours?
Mine is SpongeBob.
Oh, good for you, man. Good for you. Well, we got to get you the book Swim, man, because it's all about the ocean and it's all about sharks. And I want to teach you something.
Yeah.
Sharks never stop moving forward. No matter what, you remember this the rest of your life, always move forward. Okay? Through ups and downs, setbacks, get a bad score on the test, your friends mean to you, keep moving forward no matter what. Can you promise me that?
You okay?
That's right. That's what sharks do. They move forward.
And you know what's been great about our show is he watches a lot of different Nickelodeon shows, and we've been able to bring people from Nickelodeon onto our show. So he's gotten to actually talk to some of the people that he kind of looks up to.
That's a beautiful thing. And remember, sharks grow about a foot a year.
Yes.
Sharks grow.
He's almost tall as us, and he's only 9.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, look, you keep eating, right? And you keep reading the books. Because I want you to grow mentally, physically, spiritually, every which way you can grow. I want you to keep growing. How about that?
Yes.
All right.
Bye. Bye. Thanks.
Okay, bye-bye. Thank you.
So as we come to a close here for you, any final parting words, and tell everybody how they can reach out to you.
Well, what I'm going to do, I put in the chat, and I'm assuming everybody can see it. I put a link, and that's for the book Swim, but it's also our website. And all you would need to do, I had one other thing to do. I don't see it, is go to our website, and we have a Shark Mindset Action Plan. You can order the book. You can stay connected to us. You know, this is what we do, guys. Chris and Sandy, this is what we do. We're in the people business, and I don't care if you're tall people, short people, young people, old people, white people, black people. I don't care what kind of music you like. I don't care who you voted for. I don't care about none of that. If you got blood in your body, and if you're a human being, I want to connect with you. So if you go to walterbond.com/swim, it's more information about our best-selling book, or you can just simply go to walterbond.com and you can learn more about what we do for companies through keynotes. We have a teamwork methodology that is game-changing. Companies like Home Depot and PayPal and all these big companies really enjoy and learning more about our teamwork methodology. And we're committed to helping people, teams, organizations reach their potential and become big, great white sharks, right? And attract a whole bunch of sucker fish and also make sure they stay away from parasites.
Love that. Great way to end. And, we really enjoyed having you on the show today. We definitely look forward to having you back.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. It was my pleasure.
Thanks.